The king of kings!
How did it feel to lose that debate, Hatton?
كن سعيدا كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة لا تبالي.
I ask you regarding the abrogation. I ask you regarding the verse which sheep eat it. I ask you why other abrogated verses are in the Quran. They are not out of the Quran. Umar himself says actually Muhammad practiced those issues. I practice that. I am afraid people will say Quran has been corrupted. So Umar confirms that should be the part of the Quran. Yes, they are not part of the Quran today. Why not? If it is abrogated, why did you not take all other abrogated verses from the eternal word of Allah? Somehow they made it the eternal word of Allah. Why are you so afraid of talking about Ubay bin Ka'b? Why are you so afraid of talking about his extra chapters and his missing chapters and Masud's missing chapters, which discredits the Uthman's Quran, which discredits and disagrees with the Hafs Quran reading today? Why are you so afraid of giving us the dates? Why are you so afraid of talking the different versions of the Quran which was exist in the 9th century to 14th century, 15th century? Hafs, very famous Hafs. What we know about him is very little actually, but the things for sure we know about him, his narrations couldn't make into the hadith. Reason for that is because he was not reliable. Yet, when it comes to the Quran, the eternal word of Allah, suddenly they picked his narrations. Famous Hafs, who borrowed the Quran, who borrowed the book from people and never returned those books. How can that make one person good and reliable? Does even it matches with the criteria of the reliability? Here is the full. I would love to give this to you, but sadly I recognize your Arabic is not good enough to read this. I'll keep it to myself. I never made a claim or I never pretended that I know Arabic. Even though I don't know Arabic, I don't need to be understood. You look at and then you see there are the differences. People who claim to know Arabic stands next to me. This is the person who claims to know the Arabic and who was accusing me I shouldn't be doing this job because I don't know Arabic, yet he doesn't know Arabic. What people say about Hafs? Hafs lies and he is...
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Did you hear her saying 100% difference between the Uthmani Quran and our Qurans?
You're going to have to translate what she said.
Yeah. Now, brother, you can reflect later. Did she provide any single example? This debate was supposed to be providing evidence. And we see zero, brother, we see zero evidence. Just claims. In terms of why some of the verses are abrogated in the Quran or not, now I said there are two opinions. One of the opinion is this was not even a verse. It was a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Now, for your own reading, I give you my scholarly brothers who are written. You can read it and learn what scholars, Islamic traditions say. Myth of Quran verses eaten by a goat. There you go, that's for you. Myths of Quran's lost verse about stoning. That's all there. All Islamic narration, all Islamic explanation on there. There's no point repeating from the beginning of the debate and from there. You can read it. If you don't agree with it, come back next time and we can discuss on camera if you so wish. Now, you say about dates. Of course we know the dates when they were. What does it prove? It proves that we know the dates that Hafs lived in a particular time, but where did he get it from? He got it from his teacher. Do we know the dates of his teacher? Yes. Do we know the dates of his teacher, the successor of the Tabi'un? Yes, we do. Do we know the dates of the companion? Yes, we do. So we have dates for all of them. So why are you even asking what date? The dates are there in my graphs, as you say. It's all there. What's the point of bringing this in one Quran debate? Yes, it's all there in our traditions. If you're not happy with me just saying it, I can give you those copies to you in a second. Hafs not reliable? Did I not read Dhahabi, Imam al-Dhahabi, saying about when it comes to the Quran, he is thiqa, dhabit, he is so reliable and trustworthy and perfect? Why? Because this is how he read the Quran, not in one day, not in 1 year. He learned it from his teacher, and when his teacher Asim was satisfied that every single letter and vowel he has memorized perfectly, he gave the permission, he gave the authority to transmit the Quran. This is all our transmission of the Quran, all of it. So you keep ignoring this. Now you're bringing up, why a person is not reliable in hadith. Hadith is a different science. You have to relate the people, and you have to relate what the text is said. Brother, please. Excuse me, brother, please. Now, he was preoccupied, like many scholars, with the Quran. They were night and day learning, perfecting their recitation, their knowledge of the Quran. They didn't want to go and learn and hadith and transmit the hadith. If they wanted to transmit the hadith and learn the hadith, he would have done so. So when some of the hadiths he narrated in a way that did not meet the standards of the hadith scholarship. That's all. It doesn't mean he had a weak memory. No. No one criticized about his weak memory. So he had good memory, and that is the memory that he demonstrated in memorizing the Quran and transmitting it. Do you know how many students he passed on? Many. But he has 2 famous students, and so on. Each teacher passes on to several students, and prominent students then takes over in transmitting the Quran. So we have called qira'ah, riwayah, turuq, wajh, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to now the Quran about Ubay and so on, I don't have to repeat anything. I've already explained and answered about what the extra writings meant in Ubay's Mus'haf. I even demonstrated from a 1st century Quranic manuscript inferior text, undertext, wash away text, how people used to write within text. I asked you about Codex Sinaiticus, Shepherd of Hermas, Letter to Barnabas. Are they part of your biblical canon? Did you answer? No, you didn't. So that, am I to assume this is part of your canon and now you don't read it and recite it? Oh, your Bible is now what? Corrupted. But you say no, this is just an additional text written within this particular book. If you can give that explanation some validity, have the decency to also give the explanation to Islamic scholarship that there were companions who would write their Quranic Mus'haf and exegetical materials, explanatory materials within their Quranic text. So now I think we have come to a point we need to summarize soon.
The job is being had. Here's the thing. Qur'an
that, and he put the care, so the Lord accepted her with goodly acceptance. He made her grow in a good manner and put her under the care of Zachariah. This is one reading. The other reading, as you translated here, so the Lord accepted her with goodly acceptance. He made her grow in good manner, and he, Zachariah, took charge of her. So one is the one who took in charge, Zachariah, or God put Zachariah in charge. What is the difference? The meanings are complementary. In both of the texts, who was in charge of taking care of Mary? It is Zachariah. Because anything that God, it's the same text, yeah? فتقبلها ربها بقبول حسن وأنبتها نباتا حسنا وكفلها زكريا كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا. Now I read a non-vowel text. Mansoor doesn't know how to read, but he read a text without any vowels or diacritics. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, I don't know how to read.
Okay.
So I haven't finished. So what I'm saying is this. This is active voice where it says Allah put her or Zakaria took entrusted. Ultimately, we know in this reading, in both the readings, it is Zakaria who was in charge of entrusting with Maryam's care.
Okay, here's the thing, guys.
Are you happy?
I told you, none of you needs to be Einstein. This is Uthmanic text. Consonantal letters without dots. Okay? This is the current Quran. They are different. They are different.
Show us how.
Mansur made a claim that we can read it. No, he cannot read it because he's got lots of other options.
But he read it.
Because he memorized it.
Exactly.
He turned
Exactly.
it again.
Exactly.
He memorized
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
He memorized it. Let me guess. Let me guess. He memorized it.
You haven't got a clue what you're on about.
No.
That's
A 16-year-old
Who
memorizes the Quran doesn't know how to read.
Like that one, yeah?
Is
that like that, yeah?
You can see
Yeah,
just
exactly.
look at
Yeah.
one verse.
2017
It
Bible.
contains
2017 Bible.
100%
Be quiet, mate.
variation.
Making stupid
and
accusations.
when you look at them,
Christians
you
sound so
see
stupid.
they are different. And meaning of this
Of course,
is
that's not Christian, bruv. That's not moron. Come on. A moron is not insult.
sympathetic. Okay. Now why don't you start first?
Topic of the debate was one Quran versus many Quran. Guys, remember, Quran is the eternal word of Allah, and true century is Muslim claims one Quran perfect, not even a dot change. What we've done is, I looked at the Quran at the time of Muhammad, and then we saw there were different versions of the Quran exist at the time of Muhammad. We looked at the Qurans at the time of the Muhammad's companion, first 20 years of after death of Muhammad. There were different Arabic Qurans was exist. From 9th century to 1300s, they were different Arabic Qurans were exist, and people have seen that.
We haven't seen. You didn't show us.
Today, in 2017, I've got 31 different Arabic Qurans in my possession.
Show us! Show us!
You have seen them.
No, you showed us. You showed
You
us
have
cover.
tried to take them from me. You give me death threats because of those Qurans.
right.
Now, you want to see those Qurans?
You just showing us covers.
You have seen them, and I am sure, not shadowing in that you know that I have them. They are all named differently. They are all named differently.
Excuses!
And when you look at those Quranic writings, you don't need to be Einstein, you don't need to be Arabic reader. Look at them, and then you see there are variations. And then
Carry on, finish until you make a point. Our timekeeper has disappeared, but carry on. Finish your points in a way that you think you've made your summarizing statement.
when we look at when we compare those different Arabic Qurans, today I hold in my possession.
The ones you can't
And
read.
those different Arabic Qurans, which were probably exist in the mid-age, they are all different from the Uthmanic text.
How do you know how to?
You
can't read Arabic.
You don't need to be Einstein to know that. They cannot be complementary because as Mansour confirmed us, as he cannot read and understand Arabic, he confirmed us that Uthmanic text does not have any dots. Even the consonantal letters do not have any dots. Yet
Whoa! Say the number again. Say the number again. Say the number again.
There is only one perfect Quran, not even a dot change. I think I make my case. Even Mansur, thanks for helping me to making my case, confirming that Quran contains 100% of textual variations. Yes, you put them in, they are the readings and they are the complementary to one another. Please, stop saying there is only one perfect Quran and not even a dot change. There are minimum 31 different Arabic Qurans and they are all different from one another.
Random numbers. What was the number again? What was the number again?
Okay, so this is going to be the final summary. This is going to be the final summary of this long discussion. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. So I came to discuss the very claim that is being propagated in Speaker's Corner and elsewhere with our cameraman's active pursuit all over the world, that there are more than one Quran. So what I said, okay, fine, you know, it's easy to establish. If there's more than one Quran, that Quran should reflect within itself the differences. The differences should be in the numbers of chapters, surahs, the numbers of ayahs. There should be more ayah or less ayahs between them. There should be more chapters or less chapters between them. Because that was the claim. 26 Quran now become 31. And in the course of this discussion, what we have seen, 0 examples of the differences between the Hafs Quran. I can't summarize like that. We have seen 0 examples of differences between the Hafs Quran, because that was what Bob was claiming. There is no changes between the transmission of Hafs. So Hafs transmission throughout the world has remained preserved to the dots and letters and sounds and vowels. We know even to this ضعف and ضعف. ضعف. Excuse me. That's the meticulous preservation even to this word level in Hafs. You haven't provided 3 examples between the Hafs or the wash. You haven't provided an example of a different chapter, more or less, more surahs, more or less. So you're keeping again in the Islamic tradition that there is one Quran, all the 31 Qurans are the same one Quran. You have to submit, because failure of your demonstration of this is an admission that the Quran is one Quran out of all of these 31. What else you have established by failing to demonstrate the differences between them? We chose, finally, one example, كفلها and كفلها. And I did so many before. In my upload of the video, you will see all of these readings and translations of these particular words are provided. Who read them and what it means. Because we haven't covered them. I so wish that we covered them here. That was the debate, so that we can go through and debunk you in the process. But anyway, you're debunked anyway, because the examples that I did show, all of them demonstrated one Islamic consonantal text.
Allahu Akbar!
So I stated that Quran is a multiform text which you need to come to grasp with. That means there are reading variations that are sanctioned by Allah to facilitate the readings of the young and the old, the unlettered. So some people would find it difficult to read in a particular way, and that's why, like, للعالمين نذيرا and للعالمين نذيرا, idgham was in place differences. Or even some, remember what we said, we need to understand the ahruf. Ahruf is such that in Arabic of that time, there was no codified grammar books. There was no books on Arabic grammar. All Arab tribes were reciting fluently and eloquently. Some of them more eloquent than the others. It wasn't only 7 of them, there are more Arab tribes. The ahruf, we don't say there are dialectical differences between the tribes, because Umar and Hisham were from the same tribes. The differences, So the differences arose because there were unlettered people. There are people of different tribes who are accustomed in the Arabic language of their learning. You're interrupting my summary. Don't break the rules. This is meant to be. Excuse me. You're interrupting my summary. Hudson, I'm not going to go on.
You're lying. Don't lie, Hutton. Why are you lying, Hutton?
Don't lie, Mansoor.
Don't lie, Hutton.
Ahruf is such that different tribes have certain linguistic nuances. Some people will read certain things in plural forms and others in singular forms. So to facilitate easy readings, the Prophet allowed them to read in singular or in plural. This is how the Ahruf came to us. So future discussion with you, Hutton and others, we can go through in detail why and what the Ahrufs are. But what we do establish then, in this debate that we had, I started by claiming one Qur'an of Prophet Muhammad read in multiple forms of qira'at recitation. 10 of them are mutawatir, authentic, mass transmitted. All of them are Qur'an. All of them are acceptable by Muslims. So all the differences that you have, every single one of them are divinely sanctioned, authentic, Quranic readings. Yes, reading. Right. Our Qur'an is what we get grasped with. Our Qur'an is a multi-form text, but it is from Allah, taught by the Prophet in this way. So, in the end and in summary, I have to say that Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, in the course of discussion, we have established with evidence from manuscripts, with evidence from your examples, with evidence from reason, intellect, with evidence from resorting to authentic hadith, unlike you cherry-picking our hadiths, misunderstanding our hadiths, that there is one Qur'an of Prophet Muhammad.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, brother.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
So, how does it feel to lose? How did it feel to lose that debate, Hutton? That you didn't, no one understood anything. You just brought up the same old stuff. No one cared, and no one knows what happened. Well, how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel?
It makes me have more love towards Muslims with knowing they know their Quran has been corrupted. Still, they are not doing anything about it. Mansour confirmed for us that Arabic text at the time of Muhammad was very different text that Muslims are reading and reciting today.
Do you have to do this because no one believes the Bible? Because the Bible is so corrupt. Because the Bible is so corrupt.
Amazing that
is that why you have to come to Muslims and try to say it's corrupt?
You know, I've got 31 different Arabic Qurans, and they contain.
Can you tell me about that? Can you tell me? Can you tell me why the Catholic Bible? Why is the Catholic Bible?
There are some Christians who don't know. Show them.
Yeah, show us. Show us.
Don't show them.
Show us.
Show the Christians.
Can you tell us why the Catholic Bible and the Protestant Bible are separate, different?
Why are you talking about Bible, sir?
Because I want to know.
I'm just telling you.
I just want to know. I want to know. All right. Thank you very much.
شع فأبهجنا يا شعلة نور وضاء يا ديمة خير وعطاء ويمام نقاء
كن سعيدا كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة لا تبالي فالمعالي بالتحدي لا